Hey folks, Chris here with the Crabapple Cottage. I wanted to do another video on Dollar Tree Prepper Homesteader haul, as well as just sort of show you what I stuck up from the Dollar Tree. Again, remember that the Dollar Tree prices are going up from $1 per item to $1.25. In your area, they may have already gone up. In my area here in Western Ohio, I'm still getting stuff for $1, but I expect it to change any day now. So the Dollar Tree, like any store, they have good deals and they have not so good deals. And when you're shopping for items there, you need to kind of have an idea of what it might cost at another store. So of course, prepper staples are things like beans and rice. And here we have various bags, 1-pound bags of beans for $1. I write the expiration dates on my food so I can keep track. And these are a pretty good deal. I went to Walmart and I was pricing various beans, dried beans, and most of them were more than $1 per pound. So this was a pretty good selection. I can get small packages. I did find, however, that the 1-pound bag of rice was not a good deal. So most rice, plain rice, that you can buy at Walmart, you can get like 5 pounds for $2.50. So about half of what you pay at the Dollar Tree. But still, good things to stock up on, of course. I also like to pick up quick meals, ravioli, beanie weenies, things that have some protein in them. We really love these chicken and tuna salad kits. These are great to throw in an emergency bag, so you have kind of like a ready-made meal ready to go with protein in it. Excuse me. Cans of chicken, of course. They have a variety of cans of chicken and a lot of different seafood, canned seafood. Mackerel, tuna, of course, anchovies. Some things that I don't eat. I have tried some of their other seafood products and I'm not really a big fan, so I pretty much stick with the chicken. And of course, I get other canned protein from Walmart. Things like Keystone beef, pork, turkey, ground beef, that sort of thing. But at the Dollar Tree, I'll pick up chicken occasionally. Again, watch your prices. Some of these things might be cheaper at a big box store. Nuts and dried fruit, another good thing to have. What I like about the items that you can get at the Dollar Tree is that they're small packages. So they're perfect for throwing in a bag. You don't get a large bag of something. They keep longer. You just toss it in your bag. I occasionally pick up these salt and pepper shaker sets to throw in emergency kits. Not something like a go bag, but just a general all-purpose kitchen emergency kit, so you have them handy. Of course, spices. Now, I don't know what the quality of these spices is compared to sort of name brand spices. I have not had any problems with most of the spices. There was, what did I buy? Taco seasoning I bought there that was pretty much mostly salt, very little taco flavor. So I don't buy that there anymore. But these pure things like cinnamon, I think I have cloves in here, Italian seasoning, cumin, cumin, the steakhouse seasoning I have not tried. Again, probably mostly salt. That's been my experience with these cloves. What do we got here? Nutmeg. So this is a pretty big thing of nutmeg for $1 because usually you just get those little containers. This is Imitation Vanilla. I know a lot of people swear by real vanilla. I'm sure it's better. I don't bake that much that I would notice a difference, so I just stock this Imitation Vanilla for $1. What else we got over here? Paprika and chili powder. So, when you go back to your staple meals of beans and rice, which together make a complete protein, you can throw in some of these various spices to give your meal actual flavor. You can also take something like rice, throw in a can of chicken, as well as a can of vegetables, maybe some more spices, and there you go. You have a really quick, nourishing meal. I also love to pick up these baking mixes at the Dollar Tree. I look specifically for the ones that only require water. So these 4 mixes only require water. Some of them say water or milk, so you could use like a dry milk product. These 2 over here require eggs. I think I bought them before I realized that. I do have a number 10 can of egg powder in my storage that I could use, but I prefer to stock up on these water-only mixes. They're great to have in your prepper pantry. I also pick up these little containers of Mayo and Miracle Whip. Now they are very small for $1. But my thought on those is that I don't necessarily want a large container of mayonnaise or Miracle Whip because it has to be refrigerated after it's opened. If you have a situation where it's a grid down situation and you may not have access to refrigeration, you are more likely excuse me, to use these up very quickly before they go bad. So I prefer to stock these small containers. I can, use a container of that along with this can of chicken and make a chicken salad, throw in some relish, which they also sell at the Dollar Tree, that sort of thing. So I keep the small ones because they're shelf stable and you don't need to refrigerate them until after you open them, and you can usually use them all up. Same thing with ranch dressing. Needs to be refrigerated afterwards. Small container. My son is the only one who likes it, and it usually goes bad. The big bottles usually go bad before he can use it all. Minced garlic, another great thing to add some, excuse me, another great thing to add some flavor to your recipes. Chicken broth. If you have broth in stock, you can use it to cook your rice, noodles, things like that. It'll help replace water if you're kind of low on water. Having chicken broth or beef broth or something like that to cook your carbohydrates in will save you on water. This is what I have to deal with all the time. My kitty cat gets on everything. All right, a few more beverage ideas. Instant coffee. This stuff pretty much lasts forever. It will give you coffee flavor, mediocre, but still coffee flavor for infinity. Then we have this Gossner boxed milk. This stuff is a prepper staple that most people get at the Dollar Tree. Pretty good deal, a quart of milk. It tastes pretty good, actually, if it's refrigerated. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want to drink it super warm. I don't particularly like lukewarm milk anyways, but I do stock up on a bit of this because it's great to have on hand, especially for things like these baking mixes that do need milk. Bottles of water, not a super great deal. Always grab some though. Always good to have water. Now these drink mixes are nice. These little single to go drink mixes. If you're drinking water that you've boiled or treated with bleach or something like that, it may not have the best taste. Especially for children. Children are kind of picky, my son included, and so having these handy where you can flavor water that has been treated that may not have the best flavor, always good to have. All right, a few other food-related items that I don't have here that I just wanted to mention. I do pick up canned vegetables at the Dollar Tree occasionally. Again, watch your prices. Sometimes you can find them cheaper at Walmart, but I particularly like canned green beans, potatoes, and carrots. I will take a bag of egg noodles, a can of chicken, some chicken broth. I will cook it all together and throw in a can of green beans or peas or carrots, and you have a complete skillet meal. So that's a pretty standard staple meal that I make from my prepper pantry. Some other items that I pick up at the Dollar Tree that are related to food and food preservation. I pick up disposable dishes. So if you are in a situation where you lose power, we are on a well, so we actually cannot get water out of our tap when we lose power because our pump no longer works. So as soon as power goes out, we are stuck with what we've got. We also do not have a dishwasher, so it's kind of hard. I feel like dishes are always stacking up. This way, if you run out of water, you can still serve meals, throw it in the trash. Obviously, styrofoam is not the best for the environment. I was picking up primarily paper products, but then I realized that we really needed something a little more durable. I also only picked up one container of the plates before I realized that, again, most of the meals that I prepare from my pantry staples are skillet meals. So bowls are going to be a lot better for that, something like the chicken and noodle meal that I talked about. I also pick up cups at the Dollar Tree. Again, not a super good deal. I've stopped buying these plastic cups because more than likely than not, I will be drinking either water out of a water bottle or some sort of a hot beverage like instant coffee or cocoa, and so I stocked these. Same thing with utensils. You can pick those up for $1. I was getting these cutlery sets that have spoons, forks, and knives in them. And again, I realized that a lot of the things that I have in my prepper pantry require spoons. There's soups, stews, chilies, skillet meals, oatmeal, stuff like that. So I picked up extra packages of just spoons for that purpose. Okay, a couple other items that I pick up there for food preservation. I've seen these labels there. I haven't been able to find them recently. This is the last sheet I have of them. I use these with a white marker to mark my canning jars. Especially things that are more like dehydrated products, not necessarily home canned products, but dehydrated products. I will use these, or if I have something that I'm giving as a gift that I've canned, I will use these. They're nice. This is a flour sack towel that I found in the kitchen department, and I have been using this in place of cheesecloth. It's a little bit finer weave, and it does a good job of straining out small seeds from berries and things like that. So I use those in place of cheesecloth. Also in the party section, you can pick up these little plastic favor bags. These are good if you do any baking or anything and you want to give away them as gifts. You can put your baked products in this. This past Christmas, I gifted my sister some black walnut almond flour biscotti, and I gave it to her in these bags. Lemon juice. I use this for canning my tomatoes. I don't use lemon juice most of the year unless I'm canning my tomatoes, so I don't stock up on big bottles of it. I carry the small bottles because that's about all I use in a season. Twine. You can use these for tying up your bags like this. I also use them for tying up herbs to dehydrate from my garden. On that note, paper bags. You want to place your bunches of herbs into a paper bag and hang them up to dry. That way it keeps the dust off of your herbs, so good to have. Couple last things. A strainer, always good if you do any sort of canning or processing. You can also use it to sift grains that you have ground. I use it sometimes to sift and to rinse my acorn flour. Acorn flour. It's a very labor-intensive process, and you have to rinse it several times, and so I use these when I'm making my acorn flour. And then measuring cups and spoons along with can openers, always a good thing to have backups of those. So these are some of the products that I pick up at the Dollar Tree that are food and food preservation related. What do you pick up at the Dollar Tree? Share in the comments below.